Hey guys, welcome to Shep Talk and welcome back to my review of Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle was directed by Angel Manuel Soto and was directed by Garth Dunet Alcier and stars Zolo Look guys, I'm just going to say right now, I am probably going to butcher these names. I apologize. But Blue Beetle stars Zolo Maraduna as Jaime Ramos, Bruno Marquinez as Jenny Cord, Becky G as Kaja Da, and Susan Sarandon as Victoria Cord. Blue Beetle has a runtime of 2 hours and 7 minutes. Quick synopsis. Jaime Reyes finds himself linked to an alien device that gives him not only superpowers but a super suit, and now Jaime must navigate his new powers against this evil corporation that is trying to take a symbiote away from him. Blue Beetle is the latest entry into the DCEU, which if you're paying attention, that is the universe that happened before James Gunn took over. But don't be alarmed, and I think this is why this movie's success isn't happening as much as it should be. James Gunn has already said that the Blue Beetle is going to be in his universe. But I think a lot of people don't understand that or don't know that, and so a lot of people have not gone to the movie because they're like, oh, well, you know, the DCU is no longer existing. This is James Gunn's DCU. But this is the latest entry into the DC universe of superhero movies. As always, I'm going to be up in front and honest. I have read a little bit of Blue Beetle in the comics, but I am not a Blue Beetle fan. I've never been diehard. I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know his bad guys or his roster or everything like that. But I do know this is like, I think the Zolo is playing the third iteration of the Blue Beetle as Jaime. And I think he does a phenomenal job in this movie. I think he is definitely going to be a star to watch. I know he's on Cobra Kai. This is where I first heard of, Zolo, and I think he just brings it to the big screen. His martial arts technique is there. You see it from Cobra Kai to here. He can play the martial arts. He has the emotional range. When he is going through like this weirdness of being connected to this alien symbiote and learning these powers and trying to figure out what's going on, he has that emotional range. He has that acting capability. It's great to see him on the big screen, and I hope to see him as Blue Beetle again, and I hope to see him in other roles now that he is out there and people can actually see that he's more than just a Netflix star or a YouTube star. One of the things I think they really do well in this movie is show the Latin culture. I know I'm white and I don't have that much, to do with the Latin culture, but I have dated some Latinas in the past, and I've seen how tight they can be with their family and how much and how important their family is. And this movie, to me, like when I was watching it, it's like, damn, this is everything I saw in my personal life was on the screen. It's like they will do anything for their family and for their people and their friends. And I think this is what happens when you have a Latino director, and a nice, strong Latino cast. I'm sorry. I think the representation there is so powerful and something that we've needed in cinema for a long time. Give us this diversity. Let us see other cultures and how they would handle superheroes and becoming a superhero. I think this movie hit it on the head. I think it was one of the best things in this movie. Just like the Miles Morales stories in the animated Spider-Verse with his family, I think they nailed it out of the park in this one as well. And you should definitely go see it. I'm very shocked at how this is doing in theaters. I think it should be doing way better than it is. And man, but I think that is one thing they got right in this movie. And let me tell you, man, this is an ensemble cast. I didn't go through everybody because I just didn't want to butcher everybody's name. Because if you've been coming to my channel a long time, I suck at pronouncing people's names. But the cast in here, the ensemble was pretty much phenomenal, especially around the family unit. I thought everybody brought a little bit of something. You had the crazy uncle that was tinkering with stuff. You had the father that was pretty much the heart of this family and that gave their family direction. You had their mother who really didn't have that much of a role, I would say, in this movie. But she still was there in that strong supporting role for her son. And then you had the sister who was just like, how siblings are. They just hit up at each other. They're just nitpicking at each other. They're just going at each other. But they also drive each other to be better. And then, oh my God, Nana, our abuela, she was to die for in this movie. I think she was one of the scene stealers in this movie, along with the uncle George Lopez. I think she pretty much, when she started getting into it and getting involved, she definitely stole the scenes. And I know a lot of my fellow reviewers have said this, and I also agree wholeheartedly. I would love to see Nana's history and where she learned all the things that she learned, because boy, man, Nana has some history. And then some of my nitpicking or dislikes of this movie is something that we've seen before. Outside of having that Latin representation and having some really good actors portray the roles that they have, this is a kind of a formulaic movie. This is an origin story. We have seen origin stories in the past. It's not bad. It's more nitpicking than anything else. But I do think it is fresh enough, or that we get a different take due to the representation in this movie, that it doesn't really feel that much of an origin story. But if you're going in there looking for something super different, you're not going to see that from this movie. It definitely tells you the origin of, Jaime's rise as the Blue Beetle. One of the other things I did not thoroughly enjoy in this movie was Susan Sarandon playing Victoria Cord, the evil, corporate CEO. She pretty much phoned it in my opinion. She gave us the evil CEO. We've seen it, been there, done it. There was nothing more or less in her performance. She did a good job being that evil person, but again, it wasn't that hard of a job to do, especially with someone like Susan's talent. She could have probably elevated this character to another level. I don't know if it was just because of the writing or something like that, but we didn't really see anything different in this villain. And really, seems to be toward kind of with the finale that this was a one and done villain. I also understand where they're trying to go with the finale for this movie, but I also felt like there might have been another version of the finale for this movie, because I get it. The message in this movie was family united. It can handle and do anything, but it really seemed like the finale ended like that, and it really kind of, to me, I fell on a flat foot. The CGI, the visual effects, for the most part, were good. I would say there were some issues with some of the VFX. I'm sorry if you can hear him cotton. He's getting a little antsy. He won't lay down. But the finale to me just felt like it could have been done better. It felt rushed to me. It felt like there was really another finale that they wanted to do, but then changed their mind. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below. It just might be me. I thought everything up to that third act and them doing what they had to do, I don't know. It felt like there was no really high stakes or no threat in this finale. And there are 2 post-credit scenes for this movie. The first one is really pretty much dealing with, like, if there is a sequel, this is where the director would like to see the movie go. And the second one is pretty much playing off of what happened in a certain scene in this movie. So if you don't really want to stay around for a movie or for a scene that really is just like a more comedic, longer scene than what we saw in the movie, then you don't need to see that second one. Though it does pay homage to certain things. But the first post-credit scene is definitely the one that hints at a greater future for Blue Beetle. Overall, guys, I thought Blue Beetle was probably the best DCU movie of the year so far. It definitely beat out Shazam, the sequel, to me. I thought it definitely did a better job with the family dynamic in this movie than Shazam. It is not the best superhero movie this year for me. That is still the Spider-Man movie that came out. But I really think this is a breath of fresh air that DC needed. And I hope James Gunn and co. take what Blue Beetle has done and further expand upon it, because it deserves to be. Sadly, I'm late to my review, so it's been like a 1 week later, and I've seen like the box office numbers, and it is not going strong for this movie, which is a shame, because I think it deserves better than it has. I think this is a fun movie that gives us Latin representation that has been sorely lacking in superhero movies, and shows us how some really truth stuff with the Latino community. And yeah, If you haven't seen Blue Beetle, go out and see it. Go support it in the theaters. Let them know that these types of movies are still good movies and you will want to see them. But guys, with all that being said, Shep Talk is going to give Blue Beetle 4 Sheps out of 5. Have you seen it? Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts were on this movie. But that is all I have time for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next review.